Here. What's up, guys and gals? Happy Thursday, April 27th. Yeah, I just went and looked at like what's going on from the early slate. This makes no sense. What the heck? 10 strikeouts for Mitch Keller? What? Huh? He could do that? That's crazy. George Kirby. Looks like a pitching classic down here. 5-5 for Strom. Alright. Well, how we doing, chat? What up, Hugo? Fix the music here a little bit. Spotify. So I just did a hard reset on a computer. Spotify looks completely different. So I guess there was an update on that I needed to download, and it was like, oh, well, now you got it. What up, Hugo? Been a minute since I caught the intro. Missed Devontae Graham. That or I'm senile and just forgot. Yeah, that Devontae intro is like 2 years old now. I need to find another. If I have a couple of wrestlers that would probably do it, but I don't know how much overlap. Maybe. What up, Dylan? What up, Mike? What up, ACP? Shannon? Main slate pitching is Wild, Cole, McClanahan, Molly, Cease, Heaney. Then dumpster pitchers like Wentz, Krinky, and Trevor Williams. Yeah. What up, Jake? What up, Andrew? Melinda here. What up, RC? What up, Patrick? Hope you guys are doing all right today. A little lazy night slate, 5:40 p.m. or 6:40 start time, depending on your time zone. For me, it's 5:40, and yeah, I guess I'm glad. The more games, the merrier. This one starts 30 minutes prior than every other game, and then it's gonna play like a turbo slate. No West Coast action tonight to keep you up late. So, with the shortened times in our games today, we might be done tonight by 9 o'clock, 9:30. I'm cool with that. You have zero recollection on the Devontae thing? I mean, I don't play it. It only plays if you're waiting for a stream. How'd you guys do last night? You know what happened last night in my tournament? Big Phil tournament? Never happens. Sometimes it happens. But first place wasn't a stack. Let me see if I can go look at it on my phone. Because when I woke up this morning, I slept a lot last night, by the way. Bad weather where I was at yesterday. I mean, the tornadoes in the area. My city got hit by one. We were all right. The hail was kind of crazy. The city's waking up with a lot of hail damage. But at one point, the sirens hit. I thought it was the purge, bro. So first place was Desclafani, Brandon Drury, Hassan Kim, Jamer Candelario, JP Crawford, Acuna, Arozarena, Bay, and Castro. He had 2 Pirates, 1 Angel, 1 Padre, 1 Mariner, 1 Brave, and 1 Ray. So kudos to him. And then second place was a full Angel stack. Very rare that you see a big Phil tournament banked by a bunch of random players. And I don't even know how you would even make that. Has to be literally optimizer spit that out with no rules, you know? You're in first place in the early. Let's go. And the $1 150. I bet I could pull that up. We could sweat it. You guys want to sweat it? I guess the slate isn't. I guess it's closer to over than starting, right? But I slept. I must have slept from like 8:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Like it was some sleep. There was like one time I got up, played on my phone for an hour, but we are rejuvenated. See if I pull you up, Jake. $1, $1.50 early. What's up, check? What up, Conscious? I've been having to search for your channel each day lately. I thought maybe you should know. I used to always have you at the top of my feed around 3 p.m. I am a sub. That's a YouTube thing. So YouTube YouTube will organize channels based on how much you watch them. So if you ain't been watching me lately and you watch a couple other channels more, it'll push me down. So I remember last year when there was a big gap in baseball content where I was doing a lot of stochastic shows. I didn't have time to do a lot of shows here. There might have been a month or two without any content. What happened? There it is. Yo, is this you, Jake? It's just how the algorithm works. Is this you, Jake? The Strom Mitch Keller? Or is this another one? See me up there? Yeah, you have to just to interact with the algorithm. Want to pick a Dolis, but it always fails me when I pick them. I mean, you don't pick them against the GOAT tonight. Yeah. What up, Sean? What am I missing? Kyle Wright, folks, probably mad. 6 Ks through 45 pitches, then rain. Oof, that's tough. All right, Jake, we'll keep you up. Is this slate almost over? Or you got Cubs? Or you got little Padres? All right. You need Acuna to come through when that game picks back up, huh? That's a good lineup. Hope it sticks. I'll put you on the back tab. And we gotta do a little bit of research here. This stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS. We run DFS. If you guys want to hang out in the premium Discord 24/7, or if you want access to the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheets, go to RunDFS.com. Find a membership right for you. I think there's a promo code up there. Yeah, Dom from yesterday. 20% off any sub that you want. It really makes this season pass cheap if you use the $100 credit to Fantasy Cruncher and then the 20% off. It's all good. So check that out. We'll talk more about that again later. But when you do upgrade, click VIP portals. And then there's a link to the baseball spreadsheet and a link to the Discord. Get in the Discord. Have some fun with us. Love to have you. Strom got pulled. Dang. New Angels game just got started. Oof. All right. Orioles and the Tigers. First game on tonight's main slate. Doing a little digging here. We got Kyle Gibson up against Joey Wentz. Kyle Gibson, I believe, pitched against this Tigers team last week in what was a little bit of a wasn't it like a rain impacted game and then ended up not raining, and then Gibson went all the way off. Yeah, he went 35. He went 6.1 with 11 strikeouts. So solid performance from him. Let's pull up Fangraphs, get some of the underlying metrics on top of just Gibson. It is a product of how bad the Tigers are against right-handed pitching. I mean, this strikeout rate is nuts. 25 to 30% strikeout rate for everyone in this lineup the last 2 years against righties. So you're going to fall into more strikeouts than usual if you have any bit of swing and miss stuff. And last year, Gibson had 11% swing and strike rate, just a 1 in 5 K rate. But as you saw in that last matchup, it can be exacerbated with this lineup that the Tigers throw out. 9.8% swing and strike rate this season for Gibson. Every game but the Tigers game was a sub 10% swing and strike rate, so they really helped him out. The xFIP has been above 4 for every game except the Tigers. Just one of those, can the matchup make a 7.4K price tag worthwhile? I would say yes. Luckily, we have more upper echelon pitchers on this slate in terms of talent that we're not going to have to get too crazy with the Gibson decision. Just curious to see where the field's at. I feel like McClanahan and Garrett Cole, if you play Gibson and he flops, it's kind of on you. But I understand wanting to get there a little bit. Also, man, with that type of xFIP and lack of swing and strike rate, it would certainly be one of those spots if he was too high owned, I'd want to be a little bit on the other side. But it looks like he's not even in the top 5 owned pitchers on DraftKings. So if you want to get to him, you can. And then I would assume inversely Detroit never picks up steam, and they're not. So makes a lot of sense. On the Orioles side, they have a 4.5 run total, which has the minus 154 on the money line, and they're picking up a lot of steam, a lot of double-digit ownership through their lineup. Can't really push back against anybody, but especially against average to below average lefty. Let's pull up Joey Wentz and see what we're dealing with. I need to get like a gallon of water. I'm down to just bottles. But I didn't want to DoorDash last night in the tornado. Yeah, I know. And drop my food off. It would be down the street. 9.8% swing and strike rate for Wentz this season. 5.75 on the xFIP, 5.4 on the Sierra. No ground ball rate. A 54% fly ball rate. A 46% pull rate. The hard contact's actually pretty solid, but almost an 8% barrel rate. So nothing here that I would be afraid of. And the bullpen for the Tigers has allowed quite a bit of homers. So yeah, Orioles stack makes a lot of sense. It's just certainly coming with some ownership. So we're going to get to an Orioles full stack, a little bit of Gibson. And if we wanted to justify a Tigers sub stack, who would be? Kerry Carpenter seems to be number 1 on my list of Tigers lately. Trying to find 3 names here. Never that fun to grab Javi. Guess the lefties would be the guys that I lean on. The 4.6 plus aggregate xFIP the last 3 seasons for Gibson, sub 20% overall K rate, 1.23 homer per 9 last year. But it'd just be carry. So I probably don't get to a full stack of Tigers. Even a sub stack feels a little bit unflattering, so I'll let a couple of these guys fall as one-offs, with the focus being Kerry Carpenter. He has the highest bomb rating on the Tigers. Meanwhile, Ryan Mountcastle and Anthony Santander are the highest bomb detector guys for the Orioles. So should be fun, but we're dealing with ownership, so shuffle them responsibly. Get caught up on chat. I wonder if Kyle Wright's gonna get pulled because of a long layoff. Definitely possible. Appreciate that, HP. That's good for my chances. Sweating Acuna. Yeah, Acuna is who you need. You can't eat that 0 from an outfielder with that much money, right? And expect to retain first place. So hopefully he does. The thing with Acuna this year is he's stealing bags like crazy. Like he's trying to set some 30-30 goal, it looks like. So I would feel okay with Acuna giving me some points. Ray's lineup is out. Yandy Diaz, Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena, Brandon Lau, Isaac Paredes, Josh Lowe, Taylor Walls, Luke Raley, and Francisco Mejia. Green light that. Implied run total for the Rays is 4. White Sox 3.2. Shane McClanahan from McClanahan's Auto Parts. Tommy hit him with the haze and the hose. 30% K rate last year from McClanahan. It's kind of picking up where he left off. Already dealt with a little injury, right? Let's see, McClanahan. Last pitch on the 22nd, 16. Maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm just making that part up. 6 innings strong in all but 1 game so far this season. And yeah, the strikeout stuff is still there. Let up 2 homers to this White Sox team last time out the gate. But that's going to happen, right? Overall swing and strike rate on the season is at 20%. That's nuts. That's bonkers. He had a 35% swing and strike rate against this White Sox team last week. Batted ball data is serviceable, 3.25, 3.5 on the Sierra. Ground ball rate really good, 48%. Statcast is 9% barrel rate. That feels high. Is that normal? Last year he had a 6%, so it's up a little bit. It's looking more like his 2021 season, but the strikeout stuff is still there, and really good xFlip and Sierras. Not as good as it maybe was last year, but it's still really, really good, right? Sub 4, I can work with that, especially when you offer in that strikeout potential. This particular version of the White Sox lineup, how different is this version than the last version? Because there's actually not a lot of strikeouts against lefties historically. Like there's Jake Berger, Lennon Sosa that have 30+% K rates. Then there's a lot of K rates in the teens. So let's go pull that game up and see if we can't look at that roster. Gavin Sheets, Yasmani, Eloy, Berger, Romy Gonzalez, Benintendi, Sosa, Vaughn, Luis Robert. It doesn't look that different, right? So Eloy was in that lineup, and Yasmani was in that lineup. So a few differences like Colas, but overall the same team. So a great example of a great pitcher just being able to earn strikeouts against a lineup that usually doesn't offer them. So it goes without saying, a guy like Shane McClanahan, we're going to have to get to. On the season, let's see, the White Sox have a below average WRC plus. So we'll put Shane McClanahan as a tier 2. We're going to have to do some, like, there's going to be a couple tier 3s with mad upside. What is this? With Cole and Molly. So I think the question is, do we want more Cole than McClanahan or vice versa? Looks like the field is leaning Cole, and Cole's been pretty doggone sharp this season, so I don't really have pushback against that. On the other side here, Dylan Cease, 9,200 on DK, came into this season with pristine stats at 2.7 expected ERA, 30% strikeout rate, 15% swing and strike rate. We could pick up his stats so far. And are both teams in a 2 games in a row against the same lineup? Usually, I don't generally love the spot where a pitcher faces the same team in back-to-back starts. It's exactly what it is. 5 Ks, 4 innings. Did throw over 100 bullets in his last 2 outings. Needs to clean it up, though. Or was he unlucky? Plate discipline, 12% on the season. Last 2 games, sub 10%. Batted ball data, 4.31 xFlip, 3.75 Sierra. The BABIP was 417 in that game. That's unfortunate. He only had a 5% walk rate. So it looks like he was getting nickel and dimed there, and then gave up some trouble. 4% barrel rate. So I'm willing to bet on talent. And Dylan Cease is one of the top 6 owned pitchers. I got away with some Hunter Brown yesterday. It was a great play. So I think I get to both pitchers for sure. I'm going to put Cease as a 3 for now. But I guess on paper, Dylan Cease has the better strikeout matchup. And he's going against a lineup with lower barrel rates. Right? So you can make the case that Cease is in a better spot. It's just McClanahan's the better pitcher, right? So I'll leave him as a high tier 3 for now, but I might surprise myself with Cease exposure later. Just need him to not be as unlucky, right? Offensively, not many leaks in either side's game. Really pre-flop. The only reason I would want to get to either stack with such a low run total is just based on a little bit of leverage against upper owned pitchers. Randy Arozarena leads the Rays in projected ownership. Rest of the lineup is single digit or unowned, and then inversely, no one's really getting to the White Sox. So that would basically be the main catalyst in me getting to either stack, is because, you know, if you're managing a larger portfolio, no one's really going to be there. But you don't have to full stack it either. You can get there with a sub stack if you didn't trust that 5 guys would be a full onslaught and pay off. The White Sox bullpen has not been very sharp. The Rays bullpen has been just fine. So maybe there's more meat on the Rays bone here if Cease has another short outing with some bad luck. And I think you could build around a Franco, Yandy Diaz, or Rosarina. Really 1 through 5 I could get to. But I'd probably feel better with some substacks of either. So let's nominate them for the substacks. And then we're good on that. Thought DeGrom was the GOAT. That's why he's the GOAT. What up, Austin? You're right, was pulled. Dang. What up, Daniel? McClanahan looking real good, like almost a lock me because the White Sox stink. Yeah. Shane McClanahan is really good at the baseball. Is there, let's see, last year on the road he was just fine too. I was gonna say sometimes those dome pitchers take a look and see if there's any gap between their home road splits, but doesn't appear to be the case here for McClanahan. Moving on to the Nats and Mets. Trevor Williams taking on Joey Lucchesi. Lucchesi coming off a huge remember me outing against the Giants, where he had 9 strikeouts, 7 innings, 5-3. And what we're learning with the Giants is that they strike out quite a doggone bit. So I don't want to overreact to that. And a team like the Nationals are a little bit more scrappy than the public gives them credit for game to game. On the season, though, Lucchesi, let's go to plate discipline. 10% swing and strike rate, so that's not like insane, right? Does have an 80% first pitch strike, and then batted ball data 2.3 extra, 2.7 Sierra. So all that was really good. Line drive rate was ridiculous if that's sustained. We don't think that's probably a number that is unsustainable, but do those line drives turn back into ground balls or do they go into fly balls? And then looking at the matchup here against the Nats, this particular lineup only offers Stone Garrett and Michael Chavis as 2 guys that strike out an elevated amount. So I'm hesitant to buy in immediately on what Lucchesi is selling, but the price is so low. Let's go look at team batting stats. Joey L, the Lucchesi crime family. Let's split this against lefties. I don't know. I don't think the Nats are that bad. They have a positive WRC plus on this season against lefties. We'll look. We'll dig a little bit deeper to go last year. I think what I'll end up doing is because 6K is just too low on DK. Like, it's hard not to get to a piece of that. Obviously, I like a lot of McClanahan Cole lineups. Let's go advanced here. WRC plus. Washington's 10th. So I had 10 above 100 in the WRC plus, and then strikeout rate wise, the Nats are the 2nd lowest K rate to lefties this season. Let's elongate on that. Let's go active roster, and then let's go to the beginning of last year. But I don't think Lucchesi is going to be that chalk. He is in the top 5, but I think the reason he's barely above Cease, and I think the reason being is because of the 6K price tag. It's like we saw yesterday with Sandoval. What's up, Obi? You're... Love is a strong word, because I don't want to overreact to one game against the highest K rate team in baseball, you know? What was... Oh, I sent that to last year. And then we're looking at WRC plus since the beginning of last year. For the active rosters, Washington's dead last. So they're due for some regression. And then for strikeouts, 13th. So we'll say it's a mediocre matchup at best for Lucchesi to kind of balance the Is he really the GOAT versus the matchup? Because the matchup, they play a little bit more scrappy than. And run total for the Nats, 3.4. Wow. That's really low. Mets have a 5.3 run total. So we'll go ahead and throw Lucchesi as a 3. And then Trevor Williams, probably am not going to get to Williams here with the opponent having a 5+ run total. .3% swing and strike rate, almost a 5x FIP, high 4s in the Sierra as well. Ground ball rate is equal to the fly ball rate. Hard contact is good. Barrel rate's ridiculous, 13%. So Mets immediately become a stack. And then Trevor, if we split that up this year, last year he had big problems with batting average allowed to lefties and some power. Let's see if that's trending still this season. 250 average with 2 homers in 11 innings. Let's go look at the batted ball on that. So he's actually allowing higher hard contact so far to righties. But the line drive rate, 19%. The fly ball rate's still up there. Is getting some infield fly balls, so that's a good sign. But the pull rate's respectable as well. So if you're going to take them deep, you put a little power. But they have power. But they also have lefties, and they also have, a really good lineup. Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Vogie. All those guys I could throw in a stack feel okay. Francisco Alvarez, one of the top prospects in baseball. In the 9-hole, just let him have his swings, right? And then Brett Beatty and Mark Canha is what it is. I kind of prefer Canha against lefties. Beatty's another prospect. So, yeah, I think the Mets are a onslaught stack candidate. And what are we thinking about their ownerships? So they're decently owned as well, with Nimmo leading the charge. How has this Nats bullpen been? Above average? That's actually surprising. Let's get caught up. Are you spending over $21K for pitching on a slate? I usually will take pitching. Like, I think, I guess McClanahan, Cease, Garrett Cole, they all have 30-point upside. So I usually don't get queued up. I'll pay up for pitching, and then you can make up with the bats more often than not. I haven't put together a lineup yet, though. What up, Filibuster? Hope you're doing all right. Williams has been good. Not really. Unless you're talking about results, in which case, too far gone. But 489 xFIP, 487 Sierra, not really what you want. We can look at his results versus expected results. How's Vogie looking the bomb detector? Vogie has a... Mackenzie Gore is a good pitcher, though. Like, he has strikeout acumen. The Vogie has a 3.79 rating in the bomb detector. Lamar Jackson just agreed to... Let's go with my Baltimore Orioles. Lamar Jackson has agreed to an extension. Been a life. Me and Odell been on, Baltimore forever. Expected slugging, 689 on that fastball. So here is where the Sean V's of the world will see good, and here's what we should expect, right? So he's only allowing a 436 slug so far, but the expected slug based on this pitch's pedigree is 689, which is crazy, and he's only allowing a 179 batting average so far, but the expected batting average is almost 300. So that is signs of regression being due, right? Let's go look at his BABIP. His BABIP has been 246 on the season, 188 against Minnesota. Coors was the only game that the BABIP looked a little bit real. So, yeah. And then the slugging being what it is. What's that about? Let's see. So he's allowed 3 homers so far. That's about normal. There's some parks where it have been as many as 6, but yeah, it just looks like he's getting a little bit lucky. So yeah, Josiah Gray bent the Mets over again. Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore, those are the future of the Nats. Those are good pitchers. They have swing and strike rates. They have swing and miss stuff. They have K percentage stuff. Trevor Williams not really that guy. I mean, you can play Trevor Williams if you want to, and you could expect the Mets to never have a good game ever again. But that's not how baseball works. So I don't. It's amazing that you've lasted this long, Sean, like playing baseball with a very primitive approach. San Diego's a trust as well. One run. Yeah, San Diego has been rough. But again, San Diego's never not gonna be good, right? That lineup's just too good. But Mackenzie Gore and Josiah Gray are the 2 pitchers that the Nats are going to want to build around for the future. They're ironing out their problems, and you're seeing good stuff, good results out of them. Mackenzie Gore was part of the Juan Soto trade, right? So it's not like they picked up some scrubs for Juan Soto. So don't be shocked. Like, don't compare Trevor Williams to high prospects. What are you, Elvis? Just saying stack against them is not a good idea. I'm not playing Williams. I mean, so the Mets have the literal highest run total on the slate, and it's not even close. So somebody somewhere has either set a line and done more research than we have done, or a line was set and smart people bet it to a point where it's the highest run total on the slate. Just saying. Mets suck right now, period. Do you think that's going to last for... Do you just think they magically suck forever? Or like one night, like when they scored 20 on the Athletics, like do you think that's... They're going to slowly go from 1 run to 2 runs to 3 runs? No, you want to get there before the rest of the field is there. And unfortunately today, like, the field's going to be there. But I don't understand that... that mindset is so wrong. Look at that run total only. I'm just saying. I'm not looking at run total only. Run total was like the last thing I looked at. What are you saying? Anyway. So I will say this, chat. Last time Sean was in here ranting about some stat, it was about Chris Bryant not homering in Coors in 2,000 days. And then that night, literally, Chris Bryant homered. So that's what happens when you go off of recency bias and not off of the metrics. Rockies had like a 7-run total recently in Coors. I mean, yes, that's baseball. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that. How do you feel about Gibson tonight? Any chance to try seeing him again and get so soon? Yeah, I actually... Like, if this was a night where Gibson picked up higher ownership just based on what he did last outing, I would think that it would be kind of fun to get the Tigers. Because Gibson, like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the thought of playing Gibson here, but it's more of the Tigers are that bad. Not that I think Gibson is going to be this elite strikeout guy. But he's not really picking up a ton of steam. He's like 6th or 7th in ownership. So... I try to name off a couple Tigers to fill out a stack, and once you name Kerry Carpenter, it gets a little uncomfortable past that. So I don't mind either side of that. I expect just kind of like middling results. I would lean the Kyle Gibson side, and it's mainly because of how awful the Tigers are. Where are we at here? Royals next game. Why no lineup for the Yanks? I don't know what they're waiting on. I don't think anyone's like... They might be thinking about day. So one thing I wonder about the Yankees is if they traveled this morning because obviously last night there was a slew of bad weather in the DFW area, and I would imagine smart powers that be was like, nah, we're not. Royals at the Twins. Next game on the docket. Royals 3.4 run total. The Twins 4.8. And Twins. Tyler Mahle taking on Zach Greinke. Mahle looking like a serviceable option coming into the season. A 3.49 expected ERA, 25% K rate so far this season. And I would say serviceable in the just like the general sense. He's certainly going to be a peg below the aces of the slate. But certainly not off limits. It does feel kind of like a overall lower scoring slate. So I know like last night a bunch of solos won the tournaments I was in. I wonder if it's a double sub stack night. 10% swing and strike rate for Mahle this season. 3.82 on the XFIP, 3.75 on the Sierra. Ground ball rates at 40%. What is that smell? It smells like kerosene. They might be setting up the grill or something. 30% pull rate. Hard contact rates are really, really good. Barrel rate at 6%, 40% hard hit rate, so that's a little bit elevated. But the ability to swing and miss is pretty apparent. The Nationals game, the aforementioned Nats, they were pretty scrappy on them. But other than that, there's definitely merit to getting there. In this particular Royals lineup, MJ Melendez, Franmil Reyes, Isbell, Massey, Hunter Dozier, and Jackie Bradley Jr. all have like an aggregate 28% K rate against righties, so it makes a lot of sense here. And Mahle is actually kind of reverse splits when it comes to strikeout accumulation, right? Last year, 26% K rate to lefties, the year prior, 30%, whereas it was just 23 and 24. So the fact that there are so many lefties in the Royals lineup isn't necessarily a bad thing for Mahle. And let's see if that has continued this season. In 9 innings, he has 7 strikeouts, 12 innings, 15. So he has struck out righties a little bit more so far this season, but it's a very small sample size, so I wouldn't overreact to it. XFIP's a little higher to lefties so far this season too, but I would like more than like 20 innings before I went crazy with that, right? With Zach Greinke, we know the deal with him. He doesn't swing and miss. He's bad, right? So Twins kind of stacked themselves here. They have the second highest run total. Yeah. So I'd imagine they would carry ownership along with the aforementioned Mets and Orioles. This season for Greinke, we're using a 8% swing and strike rate, batted ball 4.8. 4.18, 4.5 on the Sierra. Ground ball rate's only 39%. Very high line drive rate. StatCast is giving him an 8.7% barrel rate and a 41% hard hit rate. So I'm cool with attacking all of that. Byron Buxton back in a leadoff spot. 2,900 on FanDuel is crazy. 2,800 for Correa. Like the prices on FanDuel are nuts. I would imagine that they just end up being chalk. Even Joey Gallo, who historically big strikeout guy, if you're not going to strike out anybody, you're in danger. So Twins become an immediate front end stack to want to get behind. The Royals, I could co-sign a sub stack. There's no Salvi in this lineup, but it's a small collection of players I would get to. It would be like Bobby Witt, Pasquantino. Maybe you take a shot on a Franmil to make contact, or Melendez, but there's no warm and fuzzies here, so I heavily lean the Mahle side. So we'll go Tyler Mahle, put him in the tier 3. I might do a little bit more shaking and baking in that category, but good spot for them. And look at these averages for the Twins. I mean, it's a lot of red and a lot of strikeouts, so Mahle's in a really plus spot. Really plus spot. How many at-bats would it take for BVP to be relevant? I don't think BVP would ever be relevant for me because it just doesn't. The sample size for BVP is so inconsistent. So, like, in the BVP that we list, I believe it's an 8-year rolling period. And in 8 years, what's the most at bats we have? We have 40 at bats for Miggy against Kyle Gibson. And historically, Miggy has 3 doubles, a homer. But you're not playing Miggy tonight because he's washed, right? So, like, sample size is nice, but after X amount of years, you're not the same player. So you have to find a sweet spot. And I just don't think that sweet spot exists for BVP. So I don't. I leave it there because some people look at it for fun. And some people believe in it. But I just don't think it's valuable. Right? So I don't. So I would say if BVP is part of your process, like it's probably not as efficient as you would think. I remember a couple seasons ago, Aaron Judge went into Fenway against Chris Sale, and he was like 0 for 9 with like 7 strikeouts. And in that game, he absolutely raked Sale. Like, he hit a bomb, a double. It was crazy. So it's just like, it doesn't matter. Let's get caught up. But examples like that happen every day. Like, every day you can look at and I don't pay attention to BVP, so I don't know. I can't really like name somebody specifically, but every day there's an example of like a BVP good spot or bad spot having inverse results, right? Twins lineup is perfect. Yeah, I think the Twins lineup actually looks good. Yeah, so like last year, was it last year? Garrett Cole got, absolutely bodied by Rafi Devers. And he, even in the post-game press conference, Garrett Cole was like defeated. They were like, "What?" And Cole was like, "I hit my spot. That was a good pitch. It was a better swing, blah, blah, blah." And then the next game, Cole came out and dominated Rafi Devers. So it's just, I don't think it's worth the headache. There's a lot of stuff in, I would say, paralysis by analysis. There's a lot of stuff that just isn't valuable enough to waste time on. Like, it's not going to be efficient long term. BVP is certainly one of them. I've already made fun of people that look at the heat zones where the pitcher throws a pitch middle in or middle low 11% of the time. It's just like, even when that comes through, like, you get the results you wanted, it's not at a high enough percentage where you could actually tell me that that's an efficient use of your time research wise. So we want to embrace the advanced metrics, but we also want to keep it simple to an extent, right? So I try to key on a couple of my favorite advanced metrics that for me have the most meaning and are the most efficient long term, because the variance and the small nuance crap is just, it's not a good use of time. It was valuable for Goldie, but you didn't need BVP to play Paul Goldschmidt, is what I'm saying. Like, Goldie was. I actually didn't tweet out the bomb detector yesterday because of the tornadoes, but you can get to those. I don't know. Let's see. Who has the most homers today, BVP wise? Semien off of Garrett Cole. That's probably not going to look good in the bomb detector, but it might. Let's see. Semien is 3.8 rating. But a guy like Goldie, like, the batted ball data, all the other stuff is gonna tell you who was Goldie against yesterday. Paul Goldschmidt. Was it Desclafani? So when I put Desclafani versus Goldie, I get a 4 rating on the bomb detector. Do I need BVP to play a 4? No, 4 is the magic number. So yeah, it's just a good spot. Anyway, let's get caught up. More caught up. Keep wondering if I'm missing something. I'm getting pitching right, but can't get bats to come together. Bats are the highest variant aspect of really all DFS, but especially baseball DFS. Some BVP is pretty hard to ignore, but it's not enough. He owns him though, just sees him well. I know, but Goldie was my highest owned first baseman yesterday, and I didn't even look at BVP. I just, the metrics that matter will lead you there. right? I think Goldie was my highest owned first baseman. Let me go look. Hold on. So you know I'm not capping. He might not have been my highest owned, but I'm pretty sure I had liberal amounts of Paul Goldschmidt yesterday. Maybe I can't check. Advanced option. Where's the calendar at? Am I missing it? There used to be a calendar that I could click and go back. Maybe I'm just blind right now. Fudge. Alright, well, maybe I can't prove it, but I promise you Goldie was not a secret for me yesterday, and I didn't need BVP to put me there. The bomb detector did the work for me. This client had a great performance from Goldie, just sees him well. Yeah. MLB is a grind, just got to keep building good lineups, get that luck along with some good lineups. Yeah, there's certainly some luck involved in success because of the variance, but if you have a strong enough process, you'll get there eventually. Do lineup rewind, is that what it is? Lineup rewind. Fanduel. So 427. Okay, so we can change it to 426. Here we go. So this is my lineups from yesterday. So Goldie was my highest owned first baseman at 17%. And I think that the only reason that he's that low is because I barely had card stacks. And I was also rushing because I had a tornado going on. So I had 8% card stacks, and he was still my highest owned first baseman. So I didn't look at BVP, I promise. Gotta do it again. All right, that's good to know. Anyway, so twin stacks are looking good. Not really on the Royals. Let's move on to next game, Yankees and the Rangers. Don't have a Yankees lineup yet, and I really don't have a guess as to why we would be waiting. Unless there was... By the way, Javi Baez got scratched. I don't think there's any... Unless there's an injury going out that we're waiting on. Or if they can't decide if there's a rest day here. But I would feel like you would want your A team behind Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole taking on Andrew Heaney. Rangers lineup is out. Rangers are also going to have the roof open. And I swear if Andrew Heaney has a good game, it'll just be par for the course like Sonny Gray and Joey Gallo. Andrew Heaney on the season has shown his strikeout stuff. Has actually had a couple solid games to back up the acquisition. But they opened the roof here in Texas, and he's a fly ball pitcher when he has a batted ball event. So I don't know if that's the wisest of moves, but I will concede that it is not the craziest thing to pitch against the Yankees. Even yesterday, the Yankees went off on Kenta Maeda early. They brought in a rookie, and the rookie went bananas. He actually set, I think it was a rookie debut in strikeouts out of relief. 10% swing and strike rate on the season for Heaney, 4.91 xFIP, 4.55 Sierra, with a 46% fly ball rate, which is on top of a 10% barrel rate. Yeah, all that is basic Andrew Heaney that we know, love, and hate. So I think this is a both. You can play both spots. I think I'm less inclined to get to Heaney just based on the alternatives that are available with upside, but the price is really nice on Heaney. If you fell through a 6-inning game, 6+ strikeouts, it's not a crazy range of outcome, but I feel pressured to get there. But we'll put him as a tier 3. And then Yankee stacks, probably. Let's talk about the Rangers for a second. Rangers lineup this season has been good. This particular lineup, though, is very prone to the strikeout. And Garrett Cole is off to a ridiculously good start to his season. I think it's the best start for a Yankee pitcher ever. And there's a lot of years in Yankees history. And I want to say one of the biggest pluses in his recent results has been abandoning the cutter going back to last season, and that's something that I was hoping Clark Schmidt would also do. 12% swing and strike rate for Coley this season, 3.4 on the xFIP, 3.5 Sierra. StatCast has a 3.9% barrel rate. And if we look at pitch type for him, has a couple of pitchers that register as a cutter, but if we look at last year, he threw the cutter about 6% of the time, and then in 2021 didn't throw it at all. So the cutter was just like a pitch that didn't do well for him. So I think that's a plus that he's just like eliminated that. And then this is a solid matchup. Implied run total for the Rangers being 3.4 is a good sign. So I'm gonna put Garrett Cole as a tier 2. He might end up being my highest owned pitcher, but I understand the feeling that it feels like a Coley bad game is on the way. But, man, there's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup, and there's not a ton of power. Semien and Adolis Garcia, two guys I'd be most scared of in terms of power. Semien's having an incredible season. So if there was a guy that I'd be looking for, it's probably Semien off the rip. But for the most part, I'm leaning Cole easily. And then Yankee stacks. This is probably just a homer spot for me. But the bomb detector loves Judgy, Glaber. Rizzo can hit lefties. DJ's been a multi-hit beast out of the middle of that lineup, so I like it quite a bit. Heaney better get cooked. I don't know, I hope so. Heaney's a 2 outcome pitcher. That's not a bad. Yeah. Maeda's so bad. I think Maeda was hurt, but when Maeda's good, he's fine. Yankees are feast or famine for opposing pitchers. Gray had lunch. And then the kid that came out of the bullpen yesterday, I don't remember what his name was. It was a rookie. Carved them up. So they're down bad. And you know, not to make excuses, but the lineups they've been rolling out, like Willie Calhoun, it's a spring training lineup. So especially against a lefty, right? You used to salivate to have Donaldson, Giancarlo Stanton, even Harrison Bader, like guys like that you're missing out on here. That sucks. I don't know what we're waiting on though as far as their lineup. It might isn't out yet, so we'll see if we get an okey doke. But I will be getting to a full stack on them. That's just who I am. I guess we got to get. We're good on that. We need to update the Tigers. I think the Tigers scratched Javi Baez. I don't know if you guys caught that. So if you are there on a Tiger stack, be mindful of that. And then it becomes that much harder to name 5 players. They threw Eric Haas into the lineup. God dang. Jonathan Scope. That nice. I guess Haas was already in the lineup. They just moved him up. Man, there's a lot of strikeouts. I mean, Baez was a lot of strikeout potential as well, though. Was there any other scratches? No, I think that was it. DMs are wild place right now. Quarter RGOs has the pitchers up, and Mets game has a hitters up. All right, cool. Oh, how are you looking, Jake? You still in first? You are. Barely. You shaking a stick. Man, you need Ronnie to come through. And he might not have a ninth inning at bat here, so oof. Hope it holds. Pitchers up for them. That's cool. All right, so how do we come up with our list here? So we're going to McClanahan, Cole. I think for me, I might get to tier 1ing Garrett Cole here. And maybe I'm a homer. But I think I'm going to do it because I want to better aesthetically display that I think Molly's a little bit better and Dylan Cease a little bit better. So I think I'm going to move Molly up. And then Cease, I'm on the fence here. I don't think I have to get crazy amounts of them, but I do think there's strikeouts in this lineup, and I'm just running hot off of Hunter Brown last night, but there's a ton of strikeout potential outside of Yandy, Wander, and Isaac Paredes. I mean, negative WRC pluses, is that that's just crazy. So I'm tempted to move Cease up, but I think I'm happy with this right here. If this is the hierarchy of my ownership for pitchers, I'm cool with it. And then stack-wise, Orioles, Mets, Twins, Yankees, then Rays, White Sox. The Rangers sub-stack, I guess, is intriguing. But like we said, the Yankees bullpen is not bad. Matter of fact, they've performed like ridiculously well, almost unbelievably well, relative to the expectations for the names they have. And yesterday was kind of a laugher. And I think they brought out Clay Holmes just to get him some work. So who would be available? Michael King, when he's good, he's good. Wandy Peralta, when he's good, he's good. And then Cole has just been so good about going 7 strong anyway. So I guess if I got to Rangers, it would be a sub stack. So that's how I would do that. And then I just don't have stacks sub or full of the Tigers and the Nationals. Anybody feel like that's a mistake? I guess ultimately I should just like stack everybody, right? Joey Meneses has a plus rating on the bomb detector. Let's look at the bomb detector. Yo, is Acuna due up? Judgy. It's a quiet bomb detector tonight. Judgy, Buxton, Berger, Joey Meneses, Ryan Mountcastle, Glaber, and Santander. I don't think it's going to register. It may not register anything for Lucchesi since he didn't pitch last year, right? Yeah. No, it is right. It's registering Meneses. So yeah, I guess it's just a pretty quiet bomb detector, which is kind of in line with the slate run totals, right? Only 1 run total over 5, so may not be a shootout night. What the heck are the Yankees waiting on? All right, you guys got anything else? Or anything you want to look at? Any questions, comments, concerns? It's gonna be a nice day off of one. Yeah, Jake, you did your thing. Yo, Jake, did you max it, or was that a solo dolo? You got anything else in the top? No way. That's a no way. You one lined up. Oh, no way. Yanks just put it out. Twitter. What if they had any like moves, or they were just laid on the draw? They're usually pretty good about it. Hold up, Yankees. Volpe, Judge, Rizzo, LeMahieu, Glaber, Oswaldo, IKF, Trevino revenge game, Aaron Hicks. Oof. Yep. Well, let's get that in the spreadsheet. Volpe, Judge, Rizzo, DJ, Glaber, Peraza, Isaiah. So IKF and Jose Trevino revenge games. And then Aaron Hicks. Man, Hicks. One lefty in that lineup. So we can really hyper focus on that 2+ bomb or 2+ home run per night in the last 2 years for Heaney here. Stacking ads because the slate's weird. I mean, the slate's small enough that if I'm being honest, I will probably just have stacks of every team. But for the stream and for making a list, I don't assume that everyone's running 150, so I kind of run with the mindset of like 20 to 50, and I think this would be the cut for me. Rushman, yeah. So you had 5. Okay, 5. That's really good. So actually looking at that, was that even a stack? Or you just went back? Oh, what happened? Somebody just homer? Yeah, good ROI nonetheless, though. And maybe Acuna will come in for the clutch here. Yeah, Brandon Drury's been killing it. And yeah, like you said, somebody just mentioned Burt. Taylor Ward has been rough out of that leadoff spot for them. And he's probably just slumping, but man, the other night they had a touchdown on the board. Everybody had runs and hits but Taylor Ward. So maybe they need to shake it up a little bit. It's a bad Yankees lineup. Honestly, I don't think the Yankees could put out a better lineup with what they have. So it does kind of fall off a cliff for sure. Kind of fall off a cliff. Kind of fall, whatever. There's something there. Pretend it was funny. But yeah, it's pretty high, 1 through 5. Although Trevino can be sneaky here and there. IKF, if he gets on, maybe swipes a bag or something like that. But yeah. Angels talk about the take it with Ohtani pitching. Yeah, Ohtani's going in. All right, so tomorrow's the big slate, right? Friday night craziness. So we'll probably do a normal stream. You know, I initially was doing 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central because I wanted to stay out of the crossfire of any other streams. But it doesn't look like anybody's been streaming baseball, so like maybe I'm cool with this time slot if y'all are. I don't know. I'll see if there's anything tomorrow. But I guess basketball is starting to really wind down. But tomorrow we've got a nuts main slate, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 11 definitely on the main slate. They've been locking at 540, so it could be as much as 13 games. So we're definitely going to have to do some work tomorrow. And Coors is on the slate. Fun. We will have a fun prop night with that many options, you know. Winning the 150 player $3 single entry. Want to sweat my $46 takedown? And that's good ROI. Oof. Yeah, you might be going backwards a little bit, Jake, but hopefully Acuna can get something in the 8th inning. I'm better than RG. I got love for RG. My homie TJ's over there. It would be nice to have a co-host for the bigger slates, but baseball, you know, I think about this all the time. Baseball's, you can't have an opinion, right? Like, you have the stats. They do the thinking for you. So to have multiple people talking back and forth is I love talking with people that know. I love, like, when me and Terry do baseball shows, I love it because it just, I might miss something, he picks it up, vice versa. So I guess it's not, but I can't like bring a Raj on here and hot takes pay off because it's baseball, right? We have the numbers to explain it. So I don't know, but I appreciate that as a compliment, I guess. Any two other guys you can run a legit show? I don't know two other guys. Maybe. Just take Cubs and play -2.5 barely by the hook. Let's go, Estevan. Ohtani can win a game by himself. Only person recently I remember who could even come close to Mad Bum. Yeah. It's only because they don't let Aaron Judge pitch, but you know, whatever. Yeah. All right, if you guys can do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Almost 100 of y'all hanging out. Appreciate that. We do have a 20% off coupon. If you guys want the spreadsheet, my player pool, and you want to hang out in the voice chat in Discord, go to rundfs.com, click VIP memberships, coupon code DONG. It's on the screen somewhere. That'll get you 20% off. So the season pass gets you $100 fantasy cruncher credit, which you can rebate that down to essentially $200, and then you can take another bit off the top. So if you put DONG, it brings $299 down to $239. So you're saving like $50 there. That's pretty good. So if you guys want to hang out, that's good for the week pass, good for the month pass, all that good stuff. We'll be there, and then that'll get you set up for the weekend. We also have NASCAR content this weekend as well, man. Appreciate it. No hot take, Raj. If I had one smart guy and one Raj, right? Because the hot takes, as much as us smarties, they're dumb. They're good for engagement, good for content. Is what it is. Who's winning the Celtics by 7? Trying to get employed by Run DFS. I don't have any employees. I barely employ myself, man. I don't know. I think the DFS market is dying. I think everything's going to sports betting. So, I don't know. No one's trying to sign me, man. I'm trying to get employed, god dang it. No live before lock for baseball. You got it yourself. No, that's early stream. Yeah. But I meant like the homies are at Rotogrinder, so I don't want to impede them either. And you guys, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make y'all choose. It's good to have a bunch of different content. Use Raj in NBA, not baseball. Is there even like a hot take baseball guy out there? Like content wise? I don't think there is. I can't think of any. Because it's a hard thing to have hot takes on, right? Like the stats do the talking. I appreciate that, Estevan. PrizePicks videos seem to be huge. Yeah. Sports betting, man. That's the wave. As more and more states open up, there's gonna be less and less like PrizePicks. Everyone that didn't have time to manage lineups and stuff like that, they just straight up went to prop betting. You saw that with the NBA. So it is what it is. It makes sense. Thought they said there was an MLB live before lock tonight, but I don't know. Oh, I don't know. What up, Joseph? I appreciate that, Esteban. Yeah, man, Esteban, we do it all year round. What's up, Joseph? How are you? Doing all right? Yeah, I think Trevino is a sneaky bottom of the Yankees order bat. They don't really even have anybody. Like, I guess they could pinch hit Higgy late, but like ill. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's rough. If they win, they just gotta win. But it was it Smoltz? John Smoltz. He was like, in order for them to win, they're just gonna have to score more points than the other team. Anyway, I'm gonna go set my lineups, get my player pool. I'll be in the rundfs.com VIP Discord here in a little bit. I appreciate you guys making part of my afternoon, be part of your afternoon. 3 things: thumbs up, subscribe, and tell somebody out there you love them. Because you don't know, somebody out there really needs to hear it, man. I love you guys. And yes, Rushman, you can play Rushman all day. We'll tweet out the bomb detector in a little bit. Love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.